Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hey everybody, how y'all doing? Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to you, wherever you are, whatever time it is when you listen to this. Welcome to my channel. I'm Fifth Degree, but you can call me Fifth. Okay, y'all. So ultimately, what it's about is one of the things that will be coming into place is the book of, not the book, the coat of many colors. That's one of them. And before I forget, like, share, subscribe, right? If you like to schedule your own personal touch of clarity, you are more than welcome to do so at Like Work Ain't Like Work LLC. And, oh, thank you for the like, shares, and subscribes thus far, right? All right. So, ultimately, right, uh, the coat of many colors, the story that comes into place with that is a Bible story, right? And it's about Joseph, who's a seer, right? And this is one of the, I don't know whose message this is going to be for, so to speak, but basically it talks a lot about jealousy. And he was the baby. Joseph was the baby, and he basically was intuitive and psychic, and he acknowledged and adhered to his gifts. Some people say it's prophet or prophecy, right? But the reality of it is he was psychic, right? Uh, and he spoke to God, right? We always hear stories about it happening with men in the Bible, which is part of the reason why we have difficulty with unifying, because it's only stories about men. They don't talk a lot about women, and when they do talk about women, realistically, it's the abuse that comes into place with being a woman, right? And it's valid and validated. So I'm not gonna go too far into that portion, but what I will say is, and the demonization of femininity. So there's that portion. But I'm not going to go too far into that. That's one of the things that'll be coming into place. The other thing is, I don't know if you guys have been noticing it, but I said it in another reading. I'll say it in this one as well. With Mercury retrograde, you should not be reviewing the exact same things over and over and over again during Mercury retrograde, even if you are dealing in and with karma, right? You should realistically be able to remember how you would have treated any person, so we don't have to keep, yeah, because me as a reader, I get tired of hearing the same situations over and over and over and over and over and over and all this other stuff. So it can be very bothersome, and realistically, it is really, really draining and really, really taxing on the spirit. It's not really stimulating the spirit, it's realistically causing psychosis on an energetic level. So I was paying that some attention with my readings, as well as some of the other readings it is that I saw that were being done. So in that regard, readers, intuitives, please make sure you are taking care of yourselves and doing what it is that you would need to be doing in regards to like your shadow work. And in addition to that, what's ramping things up realistically isn't Mercury retrograde, is the fact that it's the parade of the planets. And there are so many different planets in retrograde simultaneously and in shadow period, because I think Jupiter now is retrograde. I think it is, y'all. I'm pretty sure it is. Don't quote me on that. But I'm pretty sure Jupiter is retrograde now. And Jupiter and Neptune realistically being bigger planets. Jupiter, Neptune, Saturn being the bigger planets, so they have a lot more atmospheric pull to them and for them. So pay attention to what constitutes as karma for you and for those who will be surrounding you, and whether or not you can recognize if something is your cycle to break or if it's for somebody else. Even if you all are a part of the same bloodline, that realistically doesn't matter very much, because when I say bloodline, I mean biological bloodline. I'm not talking about those people who were married into the family or things like that. I'm talking about descendants, so to speak. And it's a really huge difference. And a lot of people don't like to make, and it was 444 when I said that, a lot of people don't like to make that categorization because they feel like it excludes people. Well, there is a natural exclusion process that can and will and does come into place. Is natural law and natural order is basically what that's given. Also, when that isn't adhered to, right, that's part of the reason why Joseph in the parable of the coat of many colors, he was an obedient child, even though he had all of the eldest children, right, who were above him. And because he was the baby, they felt like he realistically didn't have to work as hard or any of that. Now, here's the deal that comes into place with that. There's a lot of different aspects that factor into it. One of the aspects being that birth placement. Another would be about responsibility. And last but not least, it'll also be about who it was that Joseph's mother was that made him more of a favorite than the other ones, right? Because his dad had children with someone else. And then she passed away, I want to say, and then got with somebody else, and then Joseph came along. So all of that plays a factor into it. I don't think we really talk about that a lot. Another thing that I wanted to talk about is the whole step parent thing that was kind of coming up. I'm thinking that's going to play a part into a lot of it, and it's that whole ideal set of, being, not because the song I'm hearing is "Do the Stepdaddy," and how we was joking about it all throughout the summer months, right? And with this being quote unquote cuffing season, talking about stepdaddies and stepmamas and all this other stuff, right? Okay, so, and if you would have paired with someone who would have been jealous hearted, there's a difference between a person being possessive while you're with them versus them being a jealous person. So I don't know what all that got to do with it, but so that's for somebody. What else? Yeah, because I've been getting downloads this whole time, y'all. I really have. Oh, and how it is one would debunk a saying, right? Typically, when there is a saying, it's supposed to be a generalized statement that holds fact and truth and can be proven regardless of what area and atmosphere one would be in, okay? Which means is realistically a generalized statement that can apply to everyone, right? One of the things that I'm getting from it that can be bothersome is when you don't know the specifics of a situation and you're listening in to get specifics on something when you could just simply ask the person. You can simply ask a person. You don't have to go through all of the extras with those situations. Yeah, you can get further by just asking that person opposed to assuming, which is that statement that does hold true and can be generalized of when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me, right? In short, the way that it's spelled, meaning you make a fool or a mockery out of yourself and the other person because you wouldn't have been courageous enough, right, to just ask whatever question it is that needs to be asked. All right, so 2 cards out we have so far is wealthy man and man female. We got a 13 and a 2, or a 4 and a 2. The initiation of the intelligence of one's stability and practicality within this wealthy man and man female. And then there being this bad health. Okay, what I'm getting from this is somebody sick, and those are mirroring numbers. 1, 3, 2, and it's saying 1, 3, 2, 3, 1. So what I'm getting from it is some stuff it is that would happen at the age of 13 and how it would be reflected at the age of 31. This came up in the reading like this already. I'm thinking it's maybe some specifics that'll come into place with it. It's also giving, I was just going to say, it's also giving a feminine masculine essence. So it being a woman. Then we got that 4, and we got that 6. 4 and 6. All of these numbers are even. All of them being even or all of them being balanced. 42446. So, overall, essence so far is distant horizons, right? Being far away, being far apart. But the wealthy man, main female, bad health, and then there being the courtship or dating or part-time situation with a mature woman. A lot of this is giving emotional intelligence is one of them. But whatever's going on in regards to this is how the wealthy man would make the main female sick within dating someone who would be older or more mature. How it would be sickening how mature a person would be is basically is what that's getting. Then you got family room. Okay. Family room and unexpected income. This is going to be about what that constitutes as that balance in Libra essence. Because we got 7 cards that came out in totality. And then you get that 3 and then 9. So at the top of it, right, everything is even. And then the odd portion out of it would more than likely be like location and things of that nature. That's part 1. Part 2, it'll be about the family having something unexpected. The family having something unexpected. In the intelligence of what it is for something to be over or done with. In regards to the new vision within within there being within one not being disappointed in a third party situation and not being on display. With some stuff not being on display. Not being upset with things, the incoming upsets and the alchemical aspects of incoming upsets with what would be on display. But in this 5 of Cups in the new vision, right? The 5 of Cups reverse, it'll all be about what constitutes as rejection. And one holding on. One not being disappointed with holding on. Not because it'll be about hold on or over the course of 4 years. What I'm getting from it is people how one would see what it is that would be going on in a situation over the course of 4 years, or the disappointment for years. How a person would have been disappointed for years. This is all something, even in a new vision. How a person would, that's part of the old vision. I don't even need the cards to tell me about that part. That's the old vision. And it's the Capricorn aspect. And I don't care what nobody say. The Capricorns is certainly just as a makeup, right, of karma and Saturn being their planet, right? Hey, Saturn aliens, basically, it being their planet. Basically, it's giving the mindset of needing structure. What does the structure look like within the passion, new beginning, and the new vision? Okay. So we got, in regards to courtship, part-time, mature woman. Got the Empress, cherry reverse. Friday, one not being victorious. Not moving fast. Because we got this Empress and this Chariot. But how a mother wouldn't be victorious. I'm going to go ahead and put this out here. Because some of the names that's going to come into place with this is going to be Victor, it's going to be Victoria, it's going to be understand the names of some of the people it is that you will be dealing with. And then we have a Knight of Coins. And what will be held on, so you got the Knight of Coins, King of Wands, and then Three of Cups reversed. So some of this stuff is going to be about what it was that would have taken place every year in the month of March. Part one. Part two, it would have been about an offer that would have been made in regards to, one coming in with an offer as an inspiration and not being a part of a third party situation. Part one. Part two, a lot of this is given the lower aspects of being reactionary. Now, because some of the stuff that is given is how a person would do a love spell. Some of the other stuff would be about doing a breakup spell. And what would be incoming is the victory and the disappointment in a third party situation. Some of it will be about the third party situations. The other portion of it will be, yeah, business aspect. The business aspect of it. Because when you look at it as a business aspect of it, then the third party situation turns into the youth warrior sage. And with this King of Wands, it'll be the awareness of one's eye culture, or realistically, the awareness of one practicing, and how the stability and practicality comes with one being able to protect their staff for the long term. Now, some of this other stuff, I'm not even finna lie to y'all, I'm already knowing is going to be dealing with this. If you're in that essence already, Virgo, Pisces, axis. If you haven't planned for it, or if you don't know what's going to be going on over the course of these next 2 years, or what some of the focus is going to be, that's something that you really, really need to pay attention to, because that's going to be pivotal from this Libra Aries axis of us getting understanding of what balance is inside, outside, all around you, right? And what it is to have a good, healthy staff. And what does healthy, as far as a staff, mean? Healthy staff. It's going to be, yeah, in those regards, I know it's going to be about boundaries. But yeah, the coming in with an offer of one not being a part with the Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Some of this is going to be about the teenager. Yeah, it's going to be about that teenage aspect when you're Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Well, that would explain why, investments, that would explain why it would be a situation going on with this bad health in a relationship with a mature woman. It would, because it's the teenager aspect. Like how everybody always want to go back to being a teenager, but what kind of teenager were you? It may not benefit you very much to being a teenager, or if you could do your teenage years all over again, but this time you have everything. You know, it's the whole if I could go back and do everything all over again. Part one. Part two is if I just had the knowledge from when I was a teenager. Well, when you reach a certain part of adulthood, realistically, even in the mothering aspect, like if you have a child, when you're young, when you're in your teenage years, right? It automatically causes for in women, and I've learned that it happens with men too. But you stop being a teenager, or you stop being a teenager, so to speak, and you kick into the parenting mode. So your emotional intelligence may not be there, right? The emotional intelligence, doing everything that would be right for yourself, realistically, mentally, it wouldn't necessarily be there. You know why? Because you were a teenager when you had a kid, and you had that part of your brain had to stop growing. Part one. Part two, Um, it's the no, because with this whole wealthy man, main female, that help, it would be because they wouldn't have been good as a mother. That's something else. When they would have been dating, it would have been something that would have been shown. Yeah, it would have been something that would have been shown with discriminatory actions with kids. Mm. Mm. I've talked about this a little bit beforehand too, though. Yeah, because it'll be about that whole, well, it's all about the kids, it's all about the kids, when the reality is they realistically mean to say, it's all about their kid, or, yeah, it's always something extra or additional that realistically would or wouldn't have been said, or wouldn't have been said verbally, but it would have been said non-verbally. Okay, so it would have been about, I'm hearing some stuff that would have taken place on Wednesday with a cycle being open in regards to one going in with an offer for inspiration. These are a lot of court cards. And the situations that would came into place would have been according to how it is that one would have taken, how a person would have made an individual sicker versus better now, because it's the whole in sickness and in health. And the person you with is the one that's making you sick. Oh, that sucks. Especially when we're talking about one not manifesting, the cycle being open, opening a cycle. But there being this walking away, ensure how a person would want to start a new cycle over and it not being an illusion. Not being an illusion, but it being reality and not being an option in communicating. Not being an option, not being an illusion in what it is that we've been communicating within the walking away, one not coming in, within the walking away and there being an abundance of emotion and August, right? But one not coming in with clarity, not being a Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, and a tower moment that comes within one winning at all costs. And it's saying winning at all costs, but what it is to win at all costs would be the emotion. It'll be about I'm hearing severing the ties of thought. Of one's willpower, or what constituted as a person's willpower, cutting off one's willpower. Some of this other stuff it is that I'm seeing go on is like a lot of water and words. So emotional. I heard emotional damage. That definitely could be a situation that will go on.